Now we'll move on to item number 7, comments from council members. A couple things, some of them are formality, but let's go to the first bullet point. Consider displaying the LGBT pride flag at City Hall, like we did last year, city facility, to commemorate the LGBT Pride Month during the month of June. As you know, we have a flag policy in place. So if there's a consensus, I'll ask for it to be placed for action at the next meeting. Is there consensus to do that? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I've got all nods and a thumb up or two. So that direction by council is to please place that forward for our policy. And what is being asked is Progress Pride flag, which is different than the one from last year. As we remember, we put it in a policy, and a lot of the neighboring communities, for their first time like us last year, raised the flag, and we will also be having a proclamation. Next item, appoint ad hoc committee for review of safe and sane fireworks stand applications and process. This has been a long-going, I guess I say, tradition. The applications come in, they go through the city clerk's office. 2 members of the city council have reviewed applications. But what I'd like to have done is not just review the applications. It's kind of a formality, but I'd like to also on the process. Process meaning, does it still need to have the council ad hoc committee, or can just staff facilitate it because it comes back for council action as a whole? So maybe it's just another layer that we can streamline that process and have it expedited. But I just kind of want to go through that process. So I'd like to put under conduct of business for next council meeting in order to appoint that. Any objections? None? Okay.
Mayor, not an objection. I'm just curious how this normally has been done in the past.
We would just appoint an ad hoc committee. It really wasn't. It's a flower task, and it would just be the mayor would ask for himself or herself and somebody else, and then they would just review it. And then it comes back to council as a whole for council action to issue the permits for those applicants.
Oh, okay. So it's similar to, I just didn't know if there was a change. Thank you.
No change yet, but to consider looking at that to see if we do, which we can do that. Okay. Last item, Posey Parade. That will be a little longer. But I had 1 or 2 other things. So there has been question from, I've spoke to mainly one person from the Lions who was just kind of asking about the Posey Parade. I know the baseball folks have asked a few times as well. So just wanted to bring that up because I think it's important maybe that we just kind of hear what's happening. As we know, we did not go into the yellow tier. We remained in the orange for this county. As you know, under orange and yellow, there is still a restriction on the number of persons and not actually promoting large gatherings. I did have an opportunity to speak to somebody from the health office in the county just to get their perspective of then articulating what it is and how it's facilitated. In short, they believe, though again that's by state standard, is that the first Sunday in June would be too soon. June 15th obviously is what is anticipated in the state in order for the tiers to go away. That's our hope if it goes on that path. So one thing that a member of the Lions Club was, can we potentially maybe do it at the last Sunday of June if everything progresses in the positive and on our continual path toward trying to have a little bit of normalcy. That's what's come up. People are starting to, as you know, graduations are going to occur. There is some concern at the county as far as a little bit of a surge with graduations, with more socializing. There is concerns too. The young people that like to march and parade will not be vaccinated potentially at that time, fully vaccinated or vaccinated. So I think that is the concern. and then the next weekend is 4th of July weekend, so that wouldn't be, but we can always maybe see if the group is okay with that. It's their parade. They've had it. This will be the 81st year if it happens, and it could always maybe go to August 1st. But that's kind of where it's at from the county's recommendation and suggestion. And I'm sure staff would probably say we should abide by what the state is saying and not supersede that. I think, as we've all said here, we're trying to go by science, and we're trying to we want to be safe, not sorry. And so that's why I wanted just to bring that up. Vice Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you for bringing this topic up. As we proceed cautiously forward, and the numbers are looking good. I believe Dr. Fauci was talking about the effectiveness of masks outside, and how yet we still have to be careful. And this event is cherished by our community, and having the discussion and knowing as of right now today things are going to change in a couple weeks and maybe in a couple months, but we have to start being prepared for it. So thank you for putting it on board, and I look forward to the discussion as we get more data in dealing with the county. I recall hearing from a question that I asked during the council during the county call is they're going to follow the CDC guidelines, and currently they don't like having big crowds, but this is in 2 months. So thank you again, and I look forward to the discussion.
Yeah, and Dr. Morrow from the county has always kind of gone with the gatherings is what he believes from our county is what is spreads the disease. So I think it's the realization too. We're not having Community Day on the first Sunday of June as a city, so it would seem that we should be together and again go with, like the Vice Mayor said, we have to be cautious. And I know everybody's anxious, but we're seeing light, and we don't want to rush it. Councilmember Mason.
One question and one suggestion. I think if we're not sure and we still have a couple, maybe a month to plan, it would be nice to do something. I mean, there was talk at one point about having like a car parade through the city, and I know that kind of defeats the purpose of the Posey Parade, but it is really a nice event, and I'd hate to see it not come to fruition in some way for 2 years in a row. So just maybe an alternate suggestion. There are a lot of people here collect cars, I've noticed, in San Bruno, and so there's some beautiful cars and garages that maybe they'd want to take out and go for a ride around the city. The other question I had, and this is really, really random, but not being born in San Bruno and raised here, I am curious, how is the Posey Princess selected? Because I look at the old videos and adorable girls with the big poofy dresses, and I'm just curious, how are they selected? Does anybody know?
Well, I will tell you that is ran through, because it is their parade, the Lions Club. So I would encourage you to reach out to either a Lions member or to the president of the club, or who facilitates the Posey
And
parade.
we just happen to have one right here. I don't know if he knows, but
yeah, I would go through the Lions.
I'll look it up for you, Councilmember Mason.
Yes, there's some tradition and variables to it, but I would defer to the folks in the Lions or those that are in charge of the parade. I know Doc Kelly sometimes is helping facilitate stuff. So, okay, and again, this is the Lions parade. It's not the city's, and so theirs has been very historic, and that's what gives it its historical. It's not a motorized parade. So I know there's vehicles in the beginning, but then it is all about being on foot. I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's important for folks to know that it isn't not being thought of, but I think it's being thought of in a very respectful, mindful way for the health of this community and its residents. So the other thing I wanted to say is, I won't reiterate it, but May 1st obviously is 8 to 11 at 975 Sneath. Keep in mind, normally in the past, we would have the first Sunday of the month as Operation Clean Sweep. That cannot happen due to COVID. So this is something that Recology and the city would sponsor in the past. And so this is in place of that, to have something so that we can keep this going and try to address during our COVID times the extra things that sometimes get collected. Also, as I pointed out earlier, there is Director Tan. Director Tan began his career here in the city of San Bruno, not the beginning of his career, but the San Bruno career. On my understanding is July 21st of 2014 is when he entered into the city as an engineer. And then he was promoted internally to director. And while he was director, he also was the engineer. So he got to have both hats for a while until they brought on an engineer. What's interesting enough is that in his time, and what he will always say is he'll give the team, those folks that are in the office, in the field, doing the work, that my understanding is as through the time of his going from 215 on, that they've completed 42 projects with a total project cost of approximately $69 million, which include tanks, pump stations, pipelines, sidewalk repair, street rehabilitation, and other miscellaneous projects. And again, there's probably even more costs that would be for outside, potentially a consultant or something. But also it doesn't take away from about the approximately $6 million that has already been gained through grant funding, and that has happened through our director, Jimmy Tan. One thing that you will hear council members want to say is, let's acknowledge that it's come in under budget, on time, and that is because our director Jimmy Tan, sometimes is managing projects. He's doing that too, and he's very successful at it. And when you hear those things, that's his team and that's his leadership that has done this. He's also a part of our community, and that will maintain. And from me, myself, I want to personally thank you, Director Tan, because I know that your dedication and your passion and your love for the city, its staff, and the job that you do is apparent. And I know that won't go away after Friday. You're still part of our community, and you are welcome here anytime. If you could just give me a heads up if you're going to be at the podium, though, under public comment for items not on the agenda, and then we can talk. But I seriously cannot say thank you enough, and I wish you the very best. But I know we will still see each other and be in touch. So, Councilmember Hamilton.
I had the privilege of working with Director Tan for many years on the TSPC, and I want to thank you, Jimmy, for all of your service to the city. And glad you're still a resident of San Bruno, and we still get to have you be part of our community. I wish you all the best in your next endeavor, and thank you very much.
Councilmember Salazar.
Thank you. So Jimmy, and we've had a number of conversations over the years, and I think the mayor covered a lot of it really well. You've been just a professional, polite, respectful person. I've seen you dealing with the public, and I've seen you in action as an engineer, as a director, and you've done an amazing job for the city. I can't say enough how what an asset you've been to the city, in my opinion. And I know of your commitment to your job, to your profession, and to the city, and so for that I thank you, and I wish you absolutely the best of luck in your new role. And if you ever want to come back, we'll welcome you back with open arms.
Vice Mayor Medina.
Yes. Thank you, Director Tan. I know from direct experience how hard it is to leave the city of San Bruno as an employee when you're a resident at the same time. And I wish you the best of luck and much success. And thank you very much for the work that you've done here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Mason.
Hey, Director Tan. So we have not worked together as long as I think you've worked with everybody else, but I just want to thank you for your patience. I know that there have been a lot of questions both on the record and off the record, and you've been nothing but professional and responsive. For those of you who didn't know, we had quite a long meeting about maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and Director Tan was actually on vacation and took the meeting during his break. Been on every meeting we've had, special and regular, and so for that, just thank you and good luck. Good luck in your future endeavor. I'm sure we'll see you here in San Bruno.
Yep, thank you.
Well, I know we're under council comments, but I'm seeing we have in room 115 the hands up. Was that Director Sun?
Yep. No, Javon Grogan, City Manager. I was going to reserve my comment for Jimmy's very last meeting, which would be our Thursday night council meeting. But I'll just join the chorus and say it publicly, Jimmy. Thank you for all that you've done, the $63 million worth of projects that you've managed for this city. Just an absolutely amazing job. You know, I've always said, show me a project that Jimmy Tan has managed that hasn't come in on time and under budget, and you can't. And so I know that there still remains a lot to be done, but it's because of our resources, not because of our staff and the management. You've just done an amazing job. I know your staff is sad to see you leave. I know they're going to miss the taco truck that you pay for every year down at the courtyard. And you are respected by the engineering staff, the street staff, the building staff, the fleet staff, the water staff, the sewer staff. You operate our largest department, and replacing you will not be easy. We need to find someone with some pretty big shoes, because you're really leaving behind an amazing void here. But thank you for all the work you've done. I know we've only worked together for 3 years, but you've just been amazing for this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. And I do know that, again, I can't say enough that you manage projects, and believe if memory is right, around 64 persons are in the Public Works Department that you also have responsibility for. So that is quite a bit that you have done and that you do. And I and the council would like this opportunity to hear from you if you'd like.
Yes, please. Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. Just really want to thank you and all of you tonight for your comments, and as well as the previous council members and the mayor for all the support, through the past 6.5 years with the city. It's really truly been a blessing to serve the community that I live in all these years. And then you mentioned, Mayor, about the number of projects that we completed. Yeah, it's staggering. We completed 42 projects is $69 million worth of the cost, and we definitely made a tremendous amount of accomplishments throughout the years, and a lot for staff that are dedicated into helping out and doing all this work as well. So one of the highlights recently that we were notified by the baykeepers. We know that we were under the consent decree back in 2009. They mentioned that in September of this year, we will be successfully terminating that contract with the baykeepers. So which is great, because we completed all of our capacity projects, and as well as the pump station projects. So that's a highlight that I want to share with you as well. And I also want to kind of take the opportunity to thank all the staff, in the other cities department that supported the Public Works Department as well. I especially want to thank our wonderful staff in our Public Works Department in both engineering and operation and maintenance divisions for doing what they do every day to improve our community. So I appreciate their hard work and all the dedication and the support within the department. And I'm very honored to be able to work alongside all the staff there to lead this wonderful department. And I will definitely miss seeing and working with everyone there. So thank you very much.
Thank you again, Director Tan, and appreciate it. And so I think, I took care of everything, but let's start seeing from my colleagues comments under council comments from my colleagues. Councilmember Salazar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So in a previous meeting under public comment, a member of the public asked a question about Florida Park and specifically about a tree that was going to be planted there. And so I just wanted to provide some clarification, and I'm going to ask staff to correct me here if I'm going off memory of what we have agreed to, but it was my understanding that there would be one large mature tree that would be planted at Florida Park as part of the agreement that we had with the residents that had protested the cutting down of the trees. But it was also my understanding that that tree would be planted at the time that the park was constructed, which has not been scheduled yet, pending securing the funding for that park. And so if I could just have, if I could ask staff to just validate that understanding for the benefit of the public.
Sure. Thank you, Council Member Salazar. You are correct. The $2.5 million plus Florida Park development does include planting a mature tree in place of the one that was removed, as well as several other trees. I believe over more than a dozen throughout the park perimeter and on the sidewalk strip. So the council and the community knows that really at the beginning of COVID, we took a step to plant sod just to open that area, have some beautification, have some recreation. But absolutely, this city is committed to identifying the funds for the full master plan for Florida Park. We recently submitted a grant application under the state Proposition 68 statewide parkland grants. And so we will know later on in this calendar year whether we receive that grant and can begin the full development of Florida Park with those grant funds. But absolutely, we're committed to it. And the public should not take what you see now, which is a beautiful open area, to mean that we are no longer committed to that full vision. We are absolutely committed to that. And we certainly made the community that we're aware at the groundbreaking when we opened the grass area aware of that.
Perfect. Thank you for confirming that.
Next, we have Councilmember Mason, please.
Thank you. So we received a number of comments today about the El Crystal site. And Mayor Medina and I have been meeting on our 2x2 committee for quite some time around the Crestmore site. And then we also haven't received an update on Florida Park and whether the grant was submitted. So I was wondering if we can either have a special study session of some sort to discuss all of these different kind of there's a lot of variables happening right now, or if we don't have this as a discussion item, but I want to throw it out there because we did receive so much public comment, because we do have a 2x2 committee meeting coming up that we, I think it's time we speak with the rest of the council about what's going on. And then Florida Park, I believe we're in April now, and we were going to be submitting the grant for the funding. So if there's a way to tie them all together, great, but I will, leave that to staff. I just want to make sure I bring that up so we're addressing these pretty big issues happening right now in our city. The second comment I just wanted to make is that I had reached out earlier to City Manager Grogan to ask if Cardinal was going to be here, and I probably should have said this earlier, and was told that they were not going to be here for this item. And I just want to express some disappointment. I think it's really important that when we go into a contract with an agency that's going to be coming in, potentially disrupting their neighbors that are right behind them, that they really should be here in case there's any public comment to listen to the community that they're about to step into. So while, I'm hoping that everything moves along smoothly, and we are now going to be in a contract with them, I do want to just express that I think it's important that when the partners, that they're here and that they're listening to the community. And I was just surprised, to be honest, that they weren't here. So thank you.
And then to my colleague, Councilmember Mason, we're meeting 2x2 tomorrow at 5.
Yep, that's correct. But we haven't had any report outs and any.
I understand, but we're meeting tomorrow, so before tomorrow, tomorrow's but it was also a reminder that we have another meeting tomorrow, and then we'll be back together Thursday.
No, that's what, yeah, thank you. That's actually why it's on my mind. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor Medina.
I'm glad there's a meeting tomorrow, Mayor. It'd be nice to hear what's going on. I don't think you could help me remember if there's been a report out yet, and it would be good to be able to receive that. At some point, also talking about the interest in the community in Oak Crystal, and how we move forward with that as well. So a lot of things are happening. Development is alive in San Bruno. Things are happening. It's really busy time, and just wanted to acknowledge that, and I'm looking forward to the public discussions that we can have. It's really important to remember, we received an email, and a couple of people have called me, and we don't own Oak Crystal. And it takes two people to make a sale. First, it has to be for sale still, and I don't even know if it is for sale anymore. So keep that in mind. We don't control what's built in San Bruno. We would love to have what everybody wants, but we don't own all the property in San Bruno. We own very limited amounts of it. So that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Hamilton, anything?
I don't have anything.
No. Okay, thank you. Didn't want to not make sure. I wanted to make sure.
I am noticing I'm the only one without anything, but I don't. So I don't.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Well, everyone, for most of us, we will see you on Thursday. But for now, we are going to adjourn this meeting to the next regular City Council meeting, which will be held on May 11th, 2021 at 7 p.m. and it will be via Zoom. Thank you. Everybody have a safe rest of the week, and stay healthy, stay strong, be safe. Good night.
See you Saturday.
See you Saturday.